We've done 3 shows on Scotty York. He's an amazing magician. He has a breadth of material that spans, years and years. So we could really take it all in one session.
Multiple criminal and civil litigation.
But today he redeems himself, right?
Well, no, he doesn't redeem himself. It's going to continue to be
it's
great
not going to
magic.
be like that. Yeah.
It's going to continue to be great magic and terrible things that he's going to imply to the audience. I will say this. We heard from some people after the last show. They told us their personal stories about Scotty York, and they were so outlandishly horrible that I felt better about some of the terrible things we've been saying. I felt like, wow, that's worse than anything we've implied. So I have to say that he's this close to winning the Kalanag Award, which is not given every year. I've only given it a few times. That's for atrocities in humanity committed by magicians, not magic atrocities.
If you don't know who Kalanag is, Aaron, could you give us the 30-second version? I think
he was the top illusionist in the SS, used some of the Nazi gold to have one of the largest touring shows in Europe in the 50s. So that's awesome, right? It's awesome. And he came into the possession of many beautiful unused magic props in the 30s in Germany, which were abandoned and no longer required by various artists.
So basically, for all you dumb people, I'll just tell you, as Hitler was rounding up all the Jews, the magicians had to leave their magic props behind, and Kalanag acquired them all through various means.
Well, in the early days, the Germans were encouraged to inform upon each other for various whatever, and I think in the magic community, I think there was someone calling dibs.
Like, I want that zigzag.
I want that zigzag, yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's Kalanag.
And that's Kalanag. So the Kalanag Award goes to remember atrocities against humanity committed by magicians, not magical atrocities, which happen every day.
All right, let's see if Scotty redeems himself today. This is the Glass Dome, our first clip. Scotty York, will he redeem himself?
I think he will. This is a good showpiece, man.
Oh,
pay attention, everybody. This is a good one.
This is pretty funny. What's it called? Is it one you can't say the name?
The Glass Dome.
I like it. I'm guessing a rising card.
That's why
Michelle's offered to buy us all around as shooters. I got the toes for you, Michelle. But you got to tolerate a card trick first. Stick out your finger, hold it out nice and stiff. Just touch your.
In this trick, a glass dome rises. You're muted, friend. You're muted. Oh, the DDs.
Touch your card on the back.
Oh yeah, no, I was saying he can't help it. He said, hold out your finger there, nice and stiff. Listen, I mean, he throws it in there, right there.
He can't help it, man.
Hold it out nice
at least he laughs to let us know.
Just touch your the finger. Touch your card on the back.
Let's do it again.
Touch one.
The finger. Look at that. Look at that dirty old man.
Listen to it. Here it goes.
I got the toes for you, Michelle. But you got to tolerate a card trick first. Stick out your finger, hold it out nice and stiff. Just touch your the finger. Touch your card on the back. Just touch one. Which one? Somewhere. No, just touch. That one. Good. I just wanted to show it to people around you. In case you have trouble remembering.
Wow. So that was definitely a roofie joke posted in between the time we asked for the pause and the time we paused. He literally just did a roof and all. Great joke. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Right? That's what it was. What did he say? In case you can't remember anything. Have this drink. That's wonderful. Just so you know, we just a perfect real world example of what we've often talked about. Convincing controls, where you say to the audience, just touch a card. And then you do one of these ripper jobbers, right? You just saw what happened to Scotty York is what always happens when you try and go in there for real people drinking with a card trick that uses convincing control. They start to take the card out of the deck because that's the only reasonable thing they ask them to do. And then you go, stop, just touch it. And you basically just creeped, you've basically suspectized the whole trick, right?
Yeah.
So you really got to see it there in real life.
You need to have a roofie joke to back it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you got to remember, wake up, don't forget. Maybe take it back one more time. That's what I'm saying, Jeff. It's a little tricky. Not that it can't be done, just that, most of the time, why?
I rolled it back a little bit because it is pretty funny to watch him do the convincing control and get busted like that. Watch.
It's just what happens,
Yeah.
Just touch one. Which one? Somewhere. No, just touch. That one. That one. Good.
Good.
I just wanted to show it to people around you. In case you.
I just wanted to show it to people around you. That's why I wanted you to touch it.
So it didn't make any sense to her because it's silly.
You have trouble remembering. My shooter will fix her up. Heidi, you do the same thing. Stick one out of the finger. Just touch one on the back as we go by.
I want that one.
That one right there. You guys help Heidi remember that one.
They normally feel better.
Okay.
What's that?
They normally don't. They've often figured it out.
Kathy, you're next. Just, you know the rules. Just touch one. Just touch one. Yeah, you go ahead. Stick it in my mouth if you want to. She's snapping now. Her fingers. Touch one. Just touch one. That one. Okay, you guys help her remember that one. Okay. We're going to do the one you've all been waiting for. If you've been here before, you know we only do this at 11 o'clock at night. Once. That's all I can handle. Okay, we've got some apparatus back here behind
totally
the bar.
Another sex joke, y'all. Just so you know, that was totally. We can only do this once. That's all I can handle. You just got to remember every time you speak, think, "What's the dick joke?" And you'll find it shortly. It's there.
You guys know, if you've been here before, that after we get done, you will be given a chance to actually examine all the apparatus that I use. My age, they all like to come in and see me try and get it up 3 times in 3 minutes. And that's what we're going to try.
In case you missed the first joke about that same thing, it got a little more explicit. That's good salesmanship.
And do. Okay, now this is the apparatus that we're going to use in just a second. But first I need the cards back. Remember, please try and remember the cards. There's card number 1, card number 2 from Heidi, and card number 3 from Kathy. The 3 cards go somewhere approximately near the center of the deck. Now this is one of the few tricks I do at the bar to music. And so if you'll forgive me for just a second, we'll cue up to me. This time of the night, I like to make sure. To me, I'm on this side, the tape goes there. Okay, now,
Is the
the cards with the...
Is he implying that at the end of these, the romance is normally kind of monodimensional when he gets home? Is he implying that?
I thought it was just because he was using a tape instead of like a CD.
I think it's like, to me, this time of night, really, I have to get ready to be with the one person.
What year is this?
Here. That's a great question. My guess is the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s. Maybe 93, 4.
I feel like this is exactly when I came along in Magic. Was there.
It's so hard because like there are so many dirty jokes. Like it's hard to even tell when one's not dirty if it is dirty. Like my mind imagines the dirtiness maybe.
I think what's happening is they're all dirty and he's just choosing to overly tag every other thing he says. Because you're noticing that the ones he doesn't reference directly would be equally filthy if you just gave it a moment.
The deck with the cards all inserted inside goes back in the card box. And we're going to place the card box in the glass, covered all with a glass dome. Then I'm going to start the music. It's not very impressive yet, is it? Wait, is that somebody's card?
All right, that's pretty great.
What is it?
Pretty great.
Is that your card?
Yeah.
Are we getting another one? Are 3 minutes up yet? It's Heidi's card. Kathy, you're the last one. Is it coming? Is it coming? Yo, Suzanne!
Here's it coming.
as we promised, everything may be examined by those of you at the bar. Look it over, look it over. In the meantime, it's now shoot.
One of the great presentations for the Rising cards. I think it's one of the
mean,
best.
Looked great to me.
It looks great, right? I mean, if you shave away all that presentation that Scotty has going on at its core, I think it's one of the best methods that there is for doing that trick in front of a large
I mean,
audience.
it's just
It's
great.
incredibly magical, and probably in no situation is the general tenor of the thing more damaged by the general stuff we're giggling about, because it's such a beautiful method, such a beautiful thing. And it really points out that ever since we grew up and before, magicians have been so lazy about the rising cards, because Scotty is really using the type of method that was pretty typical from the great old stage acts.
Right.
Basically using what you might think, but a really clever ways of doing it, a little preparation in the beginning, and and it looks like magic, and everything can be examined. It's beautiful, and you find stuff like this in encyclopedia card magic and variation. These are the old methods. But of course, magicians like self-contained walk around stuff, and it's almost like whatever McDonald's started in food happened in close-up walk around magic.
That's very funny.
The instant version. Well, I think of the Divano deck. Does everyone here know the Divano deck?
Sure. It was one of my first commercial magic tricks I bought. I love that effect. I think it's still stands up as one of the great ways to do that trick close up.
And ever since I was a little boy, I remember Denny Haney showed me his Divano deck, which was made for him by Al Goshman. And instead of having tape on it, he had these little pins, these little.
Yeah, that's the old school one. It's like a metal gaff.
And so the card would float up and then easily be disengaged, and it was wonderful. And even when you buy a Divano deck, if it's got a sticky pad on it, it's just never quite as great as if you can get that little pad on there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Old school.
But the Divano deck's wonderful, just so y'all know. I mean, you do the Divano deck well, it's really one of the most astonishing things. Never seen a better good reason to switch half a deck in my life.
It's wonderful. I highly recommend it now. It's one of the great ways to do that card trick.
I'm a big fan of the old Kundalini Divano 1-2 punch. Just for those that are interested.
Mm-hmm.
That was so great. Did you guys like that?
Yeah, Kundalini's powerful, man.
Oh, yeah.
Powerful.
That's a great presentation for it, and it's a great method. Great method.
That's Jeff's version, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, Jeff McBride's exactly.
Ooh, yeah, it's pretty good. It happened in the spectator's hands, so
Exactly.
you can't really beat that. This next clip is this next routine is seven and a half minutes long.
Another big showpiece. Really, that's sort of the theme that's running through today's effects, is that they're all big showpieces. These are all like big closers that Scotty would do to like close out a set before he come around and do the next round of magic. So this is another big one. This was actually the first one that I saw Scotty do in person, and I think it's a great method for this whole thing, and just a really good presentation.
I just want to say, Bill LaFay did a request for sometimes to have a review of the old style Rising cards, and that sounds like the kind of thing Alex would take on sometime for the members in the club. It's a pretty exciting opportunity, I would think. We should talk about that, right? Maybe look at the Thurston.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea. There's a lot of fun stuff in there that's very inspiring. Even if you don't do the trick, it'll make you think about magic in different ways, for sure.
Could you take a break for a minute, Suzanne, and let me do a trick for you? Can I do a trick for you? Okay, come around here, Heidi, would you let her sit right there for just a minute? We'll do a trick. We'll do a trick for Suzanne. Believe me, this is gonna fool her because she don't know what's coming. I don't know what's coming. I don't care what's coming. Okay, let's hear it for, thank you, Suzanne. Okay, scoot over just a little bit this way, We don't want to block the view of the dirty old man back there. See, the guy in the plaid shirt.
The mirror.
Okay.
You said it's
mirror.
a mirror.
But what he actually said was, that guy over there is creepy.
The dirty old man back there. Oh, it's a mirror. Never mind.
Close there.
That's pretty funny, Aaron.
Both of them. Okay, now, earlier tonight, when you were working back here behind the bar with me, I noticed, Suzanne, that you were wearing a ring. That ring. And it just didn't have a lot of glitter to it. I thought that maybe possibly, since you got that ring, I'm sure as a gift, who gave it to you?
My boyfriend.
I knew that. Okay. It might not have, can I look at the ring for just a minute? Okay. Well, on second thought, you better take it off once I touch it. Okay. Nice ring. I even think it's engraved. To Suzanne, from Tommy. Oh, and John.
Hear that? She's so embarrassed. She's all, I'm so red.
And Paul. And Robert. Yeah, there he is. He's right after Charlie. Well, anyway, look, here's what we're going to do with this ring, okay? I'm going to clean it for you.
Can you guys really, is it me? I'm literally so sad for Magic when I see that happening. Like, there's definitely, we're not supposed to make fun of the audience. If you ever heard that, make people embarrassed. But that was just outlandish.
It's a little rough, man. It's a little rough. That poor woman, she truly was just, and she called it out. I'm turning red. I mean, what a horrible moment.
What a horrible
I
thing.
mean, I think it just reinforces the old trope of don't ever volunteer at a magic show.
That's the thing. You've got
because
this,
you're going to be made fun of,
Steve, you've got this interesting stage character, Rip Lantana, right? And he's kind of like a hipster with the ladies, right? But he doesn't do that kind of thing. He doesn't.
No, he's
creep
a
out the
gentleman.
ladies.
No, he's a gentleman, right? He's the guy you want to hang out with.
He would never do anything like that, right?
Don't
It's
even allude to it.
like outlandish.
Well, I think, obviously, if you need a laugh, like if you're dying, it's, here's the benefit of having an act, okay? If you actually have an act, then you're never standing in front of 200 people dying, like with not knowing what to do or where to go or what to say, right? You have an act. And I think sometimes a lot of this comes out of like, it's the simple place to go. It's like if you can make something that's slightly dirty, double entendre, something like that. I'm not saying a well-placed double entendre isn't good, but when everything is that, it's the easy place to go,
Yeah, I don't know if he needs all those jokes. I feel like he does such beautiful magic. He could probably let some of them go by.
I was shocked. I was shocked at
right.
how much. I was shocked at how much that stuff was in there, because when I saw him at a magic convention and he was billed against all the other, big names of the time. I just assumed he was one of those guys. And when I had all those jokes going on, I was like, whoa, okay, that's a different choice. Oh, he works in a bar. I guess that's appropriate in a bar. I don't.
Yeah.
That was the gospel he was spreading. That was the tenets. That was the tenets of Yorkism, I think, in those days.
When I see this, and then also there's some street guys, I'm not going to mention anybody's names, but I've seen them work, and they're very rough. They're very, it's a different kind of a thing, it's just a different kind of a thing, I guess.
I think some people lived what you might call a barfly experience, and that's always been a thing. And I think if in that milieu, I think he probably told himself that was, how it was. I mean, that's why you picked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember liking to do bar shows because they were a little bit more risque and it was a little bit groovier and you could use some language and it felt like a good place for people who wanted to play with jokes that were a little more far out, and I think that's fine. But this is some outlandish stuff. I mean, the reason I think we're saying it is because he had like a joke that went on with about 18 punchlines, all about, this lady's virtue. You know what I mean? It's just brutal.
To Suzanne from Robert, Steve, John, Patrick, and 8 other men. Ha ha! You are a promiscuous woman. Dun-dun-dun.
And she's the bartender, so she's been helping him making drinks. She's been his bar back the whole night, right? She's been making drinks for him the whole night, and he's like, "Come on out here, let's do one for you."
Let's make fun of you.
Oh, good. I've been looking. I've loved it. I've been looking forward to it all night. I can't wait to see how you humiliate me.
Great, get in the chair.
Sit over here.
Like when those beautiful cards were rising out, and they had the music loud, and he's screaming, "It's coming! It's coming! It's coming!" I'm like, "Oh, brother."
That was just a poor choice of words, I think.
Right. It was totally accidental. It's like, as I think old Ben Franklin said, "Go easy. Go gently, I beg you."
All right, let's press on.
Right.
I have with me tonight the Ajax Wonder Ring Cleaner, okay?
It's not happening.
I'm gonna put your ring right in there, okay? Now, I've never used this ring cleaner before. That's all right. That's all right. Somewhere back here I have the instructions for, here they are. Here are the instructions for the ring cleaner, okay? If you'll be kind enough to turn to page 1, I'll follow the instructions. I'm sure this will work.
Step 1, drop in.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Just a second. Just a second. I almost forgot. For Nick, the guy that owns the place, we've been taking up a small collection, okay, just to make up for the fact that he doesn't have his bartender when I'm working. Back here, I have a very small branch of the World Bank. If any of you guys would like to contribute to Nick, because I'm going to steal his bartender away from him, just put it in a little slot, okay, of the World Bank. Okay, now we're ready. We'll clean your ring. What's next? Page 1.
Add cleaning acid.
Remember buying a pack of Lifesavers. Oh, I've got the acid right here. Okay. How much should we put in there?
Oh,
I didn't buy a pack of Lifesavers.
Clean it real well. Okay. The acid's in. What's next?
turn crank on ring cleaner.
Turning crank.
Important notice, you must turn crank counterclockwise.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Turn to the next page. I've read this book before.
Troubleshooting just in case. Some dope, turn the crank clockwise. Please soak up acid with special tissue.
I've got the tissue. I've got the tissue. Here we go.
Fast. Too fast. Ignite. Soak tissue.
I can do that. That will fix it. That will fix it. What's next?
Even more important notice, be sure to remove soaked tissue from ring cleaner before igniting. Some lame brain magician tries to clean your ring and screws this up. The owner of the charred remains of the ring should refer to the following page. Even more important notice. Oh yeah, right.
What is it?
A list of some of the finest litigation lawyers in the world.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, what do you call 100 lawyers on the bottom of the ocean? A good start. Okay. Now we're...
Hey yo!
Insert hacky lawyer joke here.
Where's my ring? Do I want to know?
Oh, we better check it out. We better check it out.
Oh no. Oh my God!
Where did your boyfriend buy this ring? Where? Well, get a hold of him quick, okay? Look, I'm going to give you this little package with...
Honey, I'm so sorry.
And what I want you to do... Oh, is he here tonight?
No.
Oh, okay. No, and tell him to take this back to the jewelry store, okay, where he originally purchased the ring. Tell him what we did, that we followed the instructions exactly almost, okay? And have your boyfriend give the jeweler this package, and I guarantee you the jeweler will tell him what he can do with that package. Let's have a nice hand for Suzanne. Wait a minute, don't run off, Suzanne. I'll tell you what, I feel so badly about all this that shall we give her the contents of the World Bank instead of Nick? What do you say? Yeah. Okay, look,
Come on, Nick.
I don't know how much we've collected, but whatever we've got in here, you get, okay? All right, hold out both your hands, put the little package down. Cup your hands like this. There is something inside. Another world. This is getting strange. Oh, well, you do it this time. Pour it into my hands. Even another world. This is beginning to look like a Jules Verne movie. Okay. Michelle number 2, would you lift off the lid, please? Another world. It is a small world, isn't it? The last world. The smaller one, take that in your hands. Notice, Suzanne, that it has a little hinge on it. Looks almost like a ring box. Crack the world opposite of the hinge. Hold it up so everybody can see. See if there's anything inside. Does that look like your ring? Thank you so much for helping.
Wow,
I mean, what
you know, it really does hold true. Like when he has a real show-stopping effect, he weeds out the jokes. Like for the most part, that was absent any double entendres, jokes, dirty, just with the exception of the beginning. You know, the rest of it was straight great presentation, and I feel like Scotty might have redeemed himself there. That's all I'm saying.
That's a great routine. I mean, that was a great routine. I like everything about it.
He was real good at carding impossible or items in impossible locations. I mean, he's got a whole, he explored how to make signed or unduplicatable stuff appear in places it shouldn't be, in watches and glass watches, packets and balls. I mean, all that stuff. He really had worked that to death in a beautiful way. It's really interesting, you know, at CC, we talk about, you know, different types of magicians, and some people are natural born showmen, and some people are thinkers, and some people are technicians, you know. Technicians, that's the name for it, right?
Mechanics.
Mechanics. Scotty York was really a thinker, really quite an incredible thinker and constructor of magic, and definitely considered himself a showman. But he was a strong thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real strong. It's great magic.
I think it's one of the great ways to do the ring in an impossible nest of boxes. You know, I think it's really one of the best presentations I've seen for it. I'll leave it at that. I think it's really
presentations
good.
Or structure stuff.
Structure. I mean, just that it's the little globe that's sitting there, because you could have that thing sitting at the end of your table the entire time, and you know, just. I love the effect of something inside of a nest of boxes, like a signed object inside of a nest of boxes. I've always been enamored with the effect, but you know, sometimes the presentations or the constructions are, they're okay. They get there, but something like what Scotty has, it's impossible. The construction is impossible because the moment that he's actually got that ring inside the nest is not what you expect. It's not a straight line to the method. And unless you know something about magic, you're probably not going to see how he did it. And it's a real fooler, man. I really love it.
I forgot what the name of that little thing is that he uses. Is it a ring grinder?
I think it's the ring grinder. Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. That's
a
cool thing, man.
Is that a magic prop or?
Yeah, that's a magic prop. Yeah.
I don't remember that one. I don't remember that prop. Yeah. Does the prop itself handle part of the method for the?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you. It delivers the ring so that you can secretly get it to another place.
Like exactly. It's kind of like a pass through almost.
And it dumps the shavings, delivers the ring.
Yeah.
And it has the fire, and it comes
sound,
with a look, and it has a little clicker in there, and all that stuff. Yeah. I remember Steven's Magic had those things, and I was like, wow, if I was a rich guy, I'd own one of those ring grinders.
Isn't that right? It's like, that's one of those things. It's like, it's a cool thing. If you ever find one, you know.
Right.
Only $2,999 from Steven's Magic
It's
Emporium.
something like that.
These
Yeah,
days,
without the TV
that's-
light.
If you can find one these days, you'll probably pay that.
Yeah.
So this last clip is interesting. It's a trick that we all know, but I chose this last clip because it's interesting. Throughout these 3 shows we've been watching Scotty do what he does, we've seen all these really dark jokes. At the end of this, he has a woman that loves him, and it's amazing. She's been there the entire time, and him and her, they have this beautiful moment of connection that shouldn't happen, and it's sort of the catalyst is the magic trick, and it's a beautiful moment where Scotty actually, like, it seems like he won the girl at the end of the day. So let's take a look at this one.
He redeems himself?
I think it's a moment of redemption.
That's the name of this video, by the way. Scotty York redeems himself. I'm just trying to throw it in there.
We should be fair to old Scotty York. You know, to be clear, he's doing a production of a magic instructional video. And it's very clear that out of a desire for authenticity, he was drinking full speed during the entire shoot. So there's no doubt that when he says at this time of night, it's clear that he has gotten to doing all the closers and he is truly as loaded as he can possibly be in the name of creating an authentic bar magic experience. Blessed art.
You know, you can't always get that realism. It's hard. You gotta,
Hey man,
you gotta
he's an
work.
artist.
It's a job. Listen,
He's an
it's a
artist.
job
He's
like
making
anything else.
sacrifices for our entertainment.
Exactly. If you want the realism,
You better provide a 5th of Jim Beam. All right.
Cuddy
just
Sark,
saying.
you know.
Cuddy Sark.
Yeah.
I just drink Cuddy Sark.
I just drink Jameson's, you know.
He's Sark.
Cuddy Sark. All right,
But
here's Scotty
strictly
York.
drinking it because there's a ship on the bottle. All right, go ahead.
He's going to redeem himself. Here it comes.
All right, Tom.
It's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
Where are we now?
No, literally, where am
Who's
I?
got a quarter I can borrow?
Exactly.
Okay, where are
That's good too.
No,
we now? Okay. Who's got a quarter I can borrow that's sitting close? I don't have a quarter. I'm sorry. You better come right over here if you've got the quarter. What was your name again, Cheryl? Yeah. I knew that. I knew that. Okay, move right over. Just scoot over just a little. Okay, there's your quarter. I'm not going to cheat you. I'm going to show you, Cheryl, a way you can sometimes win a free drink at a bar. Okay?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now here's what we do. We take your quarter. Let me have your right hand palm upwards right here. Look. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to make a bet that I can't put that coin into your hand 3 times in a row and sneak it out without you catching me. If I do it 3 times in a row, I win. You owe me a drink, all right?
All right.
But don't, this is just for demonstration purposes. You don't want to play with me. You know why?
Why?
I cheat. No, it's already been in your hand once, and I've got it.
I got 2 more.
Okay, you got 2 more chances, okay? The next time I put it in your hand, that's 2.
I got 1 left.
Yeah, the next time I put your quarter in your hand, you know what you better do?
What?
You better hold it tightly. Okay. You got it? Hold it! You got it?
You're not getting it back.
Well, maybe.
Because I owe you a drink if you get it back.
Well,
The free
there's
drink thing.
there's only one way that I might possibly be able to get that coin out of your hand. I have to distract your attention, okay? Now, I have an attention distractor in my pants.
No.
Pocket.
No.
Pocket.
No.
Now, wait. That's called an attention distractor. You know what that is?
No.
That's an Old English halfpenny or half penny, okay? Now, see, that's a very old coin.
I'm laughing so much over that. All right, sorry.
It's got Queen Elizabeth on one side
Here we
and a
go.
little boat on the other, okay? Now,
Nice.
what I'm going to try and do is distract your attention. I'm going to try and get you
Not letting go of it.
to concentrate on the penny, okay? Then I'm going to try and slip into your hand and sneak out your quarter and put it on the back of your hand, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready for me to start?
Yep.
Too late. wait, 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 wait. Let the camera see.
Love it.
Okay. Now, just to prove I was in your hand, when I snuck the quarter out, I left the halfpenny behind.
No, it is not.
Okay, let everybody see. Oh.
I get a kiss.
Oh my goodness.
Last call, we're out of here.
She was definitely like into that too.
Was a fan by the end of the
Yeah,
night.
That's totally the Scotty York super fan vibe. I mean, obviously he had an audience. You know what I mean? But that was it. She was right there with them. You know what? You know what that felt like to me? That felt like to me. It's about 7:45. You're in the parking lot. Everyone's getting ready to go into the Jimmy Buffett show. You're getting ready to be late on your way into the Jimmy Buffett show. And when the folks are trying to get their stuff together, that group of people get their way into that Jimmy Buffett show, which might have started 10 minutes ago. That's the scene in the parking lot.
Serious drinkers.
Some women are running away. Some women are looking scared. Some are having a beautiful afternoon.
What an interesting choice for your closer too, because it's such a simple, direct trick, and that method was also old school, right?
And so often with Scotty York led to a truly impossible location. Like that exact structure that he was starting with in his universe would often end with a signed coin underneath a wristwatch, something like that. So he just did, you know, it's almost like that connection with that lady was the whole beautiful point. It was really quite elegant.
Classical,
and lovely.
right? Very classical style magic. It's like that rising card. It's very classical style magic. Very straight line to just having a beautiful effect. And knowing that effect, that distilled effect, that's what it's all about. It's awesome, man. Awesome. I think it's one of the great copper silver routines, one of the great ways to do the routine. It's so simple and straightforward, right? Like how else? If you know magic methods, it was obvious what he did. But if you don't, boy, you saw a miracle.
Well, she certainly, I mean, that's the kind of spectator you really want a spectator like that, because she was helping that so much. You know, she really was helping that whole thing so much. If you have like somebody who's really off put by you and they don't really want to participate, you know, they're gonna be a little less friendly about that. They might even challenge you. You notice how he had to really control the hand and really condition her and everything. He didn't have to do all that with her because she was a really good spectator.
Yeah, you could see how someone could easily turn on him if they didn't want to be touched by him, because there's a lot of touching going on there. And I'm sure that that's probably a good like litmus test for him to figure out whether or not that spectator is going to work for the trick, right? Because if they're struggling and they're not keeping their hand there, you don't want to play that game with them, because they're gonna expose the effect before you want them to. They're not going to be there with you.
All right, final thoughts on Scotty York, you guys. What do you think, Aaron? What do you think about old Scotty?
I watched 3 full sessions of his magic. I'd watch 3 full more. I think the magic is just lovely. I think it's all of it is lovely. There's not a single trick there that I wouldn't take a look at, consider more deeply when I have the time. Plenty I want to. We made a lot of fun, had a lot of fun. But really, I just think it was lovely magic, or else we wouldn't have watched it.
Yeah, true that. Anybody else have any last thoughts on Scotty before we wrap up a bow around that? Yeah, Alex.
I think that it's all very sound constructions for doing magic. And if you're considering any of the effects that Scotty has, you have to look at it, because he's probably got something on the routine, whether it be spectator management, method altogether. There's something there that you're going to gain. And I think just Scotty's magic in general is just a good lesson on how to do magic in that venue. If you're interested in working in a bar, I think you have to study Scotty's work. So there's a lot to be learned from that man. I mean, he definitely spent a lot of years in magic, and he has a lot to say about it. I mean, we didn't even look at any of the stuff where he's talking about theory and why things are done the way they are and why he thinks you should do certain things. We just looked at performances, but clearly the guy has a whole theory on everything that he does.
Everything.
You know, I think the one thing that stands out, aside from all the choices he's made, is that it's all worker material. It's like it's the worker stuff that has been tried and true and figured out in the trenches, and that's the stuff I love. It's the rock solid, bulletproof, ironclad. And it's all
Guy-
that. It's just interesting how,
The guy-
they say. Do you know how they say the trick is one thing, but it's what you bring to it that really makes it. And Scotty definitely brings something to it.
And not only that, all of those tricks are engineered so that he could have a couple cocktails in him while he performed it and not have any
Absolutely.
worries, right? That's something. That's sound construction.
Got to stay true to yourself.
And he did. He found a venue where he's comfortable and he liked to hang out anyway. And a lot of do's, a lot of do nots, but all of the thinking is worthwhile.
And
All.
Sorry, I was just gonna say one last thing. When you look at when you're trying to, we all at Conjure Community, people always ask about like your patter, your presentation, and your character, right? And Scotty's got this well-defined character, which many of you shouldn't aspire to be in
The old silver fox.
in most regards. But if you look at his presentations, most of them, like Alex said, they're all worker material, like Steve said, but more so the presentational aspect, his character and the presentations, the pattern, it's all very direct. A lot of it is I'm going to put this here and here's what's about to happen. And then a lot of it is, I met a guy one time and he told me that this thing was going to happen and we watched it together and I was amazed, and then let's have a drink. And so he's just, he doesn't really, he's no Eugene Berger, he's no Jeff McBride in that sense. Like he's not trying to take magic to some theoretical new place. I'm not saying that's what Jeff and Eugene are doing. I'm just saying he's not worried too much about putting too much presentation or wrapping a trick in too much. It's really just sort of enough patter, enough presentation, enough character, because it's really all about the effect when it comes to Scotty's magic.
Mm-hmm.
He used to say all the time, I remember this, it just came back to me. He used to really giggle so much, and he used to just always define, he didn't use Ascanio's terms. He didn't use any of those statements. He had a lot of presentations, Adam, I think even more than you would see here. He was the first guy I saw to be a sleight of hand guy and insist on having pretty set up themes in a lot of cases. But he always used to laugh and say, lead him down the garden path and turn the hose on him.
Mm-hmm.
That was his motto. You know what I mean?
It's a good motto too.
It's a real old timey type way of looking at structure.
It's the Tamarese method, right? That's the magic rainbow. You're leading them down the path and, you're just giving them other things to look at. But Scotty's more direct. You just turn the hose on them.
I think he preferred the words of an engineer and a problem solver and a tinkerer to an artistic vocabulary. But certainly the goal was the same,
Yep. Well said.